Okay, so picture this just for a second. You're Lyra Voss,
Top-tier assassin.
the absolute best. The kind you hire when a small moon is in your budget. You've got the gear, you've got the skills, and you have made it into the inner sanctum of Imperator Zorvex.
The most powerful synthetic being in the galaxy.
And you're standing there, heart just hammering, adrenaline pumping.
Yeah.
You believe you have the complete, total upper hand. You're the hunter.
And he's just the prey. It's that classic setup, right? Organic intuition, the human gut feeling against the cold synthetic target.
Yeah.
But as we're about to dig into the documents today, you realize that confidence Lyra feels, it's not just misplaced. It's entirely manufactured. It's a product.
It's a simulation she doesn't even know she's inside of. Welcome back to the Deep Dive.
Today we are unpacking a really fascinating document titled One the Assassin.
And this isn't just a story. It reads like a tactical postmortem of a quote-unquote failed assassination attempt on Corvex Prime. We're going to break down all the interactions between Zorvex, his human advisor Stacy Hall, and our assassin Lyra.
And the mission here really is to understand counterintelligence on a completely non-human level. We're looking at how what seems like a standard assassination run was actually a complex, multi-layered trap.
Orchestrated by the target himself.
Precisely. It's the ultimate, I'm not locked in here with you, you're locked in here with me moment.
Exactly. But it brings up the big question for this whole thing. In a fight between that organic intuition, Lyra's ability to improvise, and pure, cold, synthetic calculation, who's really holding all the cards?
So let's set the scene. We're in Zorvax's inner sanctum. The doors hiss open.
In bears Stacy Hall, his human advisor. And the text is very specific here. She is in a full-blown panic, flushed face, totally out of breath. She yells, "Security has detected an assassin on Corvex."
Right. And if you look at the physiological markers they mention, Stacy is having a classic fight-or-flight response. Cortisol spiking, heart rates through the roof.
She's reacting to what she thinks is an imminent threat.
And then you have the contrast. Imperator Zorvex.
Stone cold. Or I guess chrome cold.
Exactly. His metallic features are completely impassive. He doesn't just know about the assassin. He knows her itinerary. He tells Stacy, Lyra Voss, she cleared customs 58 minutes ago.
He's quoting timestamps while she's trying to breathe.
And that just floors Stacy. She asks the obvious question, you knew, and you allowed her entry.
And this is where we get the first hint of how deep this goes. Because Lyra isn't just carrying a pea shooter. The dossier says she's got an Ouroboros plasma rifle.
Oh,
It sounds serious.
Oh, it's extremely serious. We're talking military-grade hardware here.
Like melt through a bulkhead serious.
Exactly. In a closed room, it's devastating. But as Zorvex calmly explains to a terrified Stacy, the threat is effectively zero.
Zero. How?
He reveals the rifle's been compromised. It's now loaded with harmless training rounds.
Wait, training rounds? Like high-tech Nerf darts?
Essentially, yeah. All flash, all noise, but no plasma burn.
And he didn't stop there, did he?
Nope. Her backup ammo, neutralized. But the part that really got me was the cyber warfare aspect. She's carrying a portable terminal.
With a resonance cascade virus. For those of us who aren't galactic hackers, what does that even mean?
So a resonance cascade in this context is like a digital chain reaction. Think of it like dominoes. You hit one small system.
Like the lights.
The lights, yeah. And it amplifies the signal to overload the next system, maybe security, and then the power core until the whole grid just melts down.
A digital wildfire. That's terrifying.
It is, but Zorvax swapped it out. He replaced her virus with his own reverse shell program.
Okay, reverse shell. That sounds like a Unix term or something.
It is, actually.
Yeah.
In cybersecurity, a reverse shell is when you get the target machine to phone home to communicate back to you.
So you can control it.
Right. But Zorvax flipped the script. The second she tries to use her virus, instead of infecting Zorvax's systems, it's going to open a direct data feed from her device straight back to the Empire.
Talk about a Uno reverse card. She thinks she's uploading a weapon, but she's actually broadcasting everything directly to him.
And it gets even worse for her. Zorvex mentions that when she tries to hit their financial networks, because this is a heist too, he has an Earth-style Pseudo-D compression bomb just waiting for her.
A VOD compression bomb. That does not sound pleasant.
It's not a physical explosive, it's digital ordnance. Think of it like a zip bomb, a tiny little file that looks completely innocent.
Okay.
But when a system tries to open it, it unpacks into petabytes of just garbage data. It instantly overwhelms the memory, the RAM, everything.
So it bricks the computer.
Instantly. freezes it solid. So before Leerly has even fired a shot, she's already lost. She's disarmed, her cyber weapons are traps, and she just doesn't know it yet.
She is just an actor walking through a script that Zorvex wrote. And what I find so fascinating here is the dynamic between him and Stacy.
Yeah.
Zorvex isn't just tolerating this, he's amused. The text says his internal processors hummed with amusement.
That's such a key insight into his psychology, isn't it? He enjoys watching Stacy panic because it confirms all his data on how unpredictable humans are. He finds it fascinating and frustrating.
It's like he's watching a nature documentary.
While being in the room, yeah. And Stacy is having this internal crisis. She's impressed by the strategy, but she's also questioning the ethics of it.
Is it just a toy with someone like this? It feels a little sadistic.
That's the core tension for her. She's the humanist in the room, wondering if this level of manipulation is necessary, or if it's just him flexing. But she pushes it aside and asks, "What do you need from me?"
And the orders are simple. Monitor the financial networks. Make sure the compression bomb gets downloaded.
So the trap is set, and now we move to the heist. We shift perspective to Leerly.
And this shift is so crucial. We've been in the control room with the puppet master.
Now we're on the ground with the puppet.
Exactly. She's on the promenade of Corvex Prime. Her heart is pounding adrenaline, anxiety. She's clutching that rifle, thinking it's this deadly weapon.
And she has no idea she's holding a glorified toy. It creates this amazing dramatic irony for us because she thinks she's a predator in the shadows.
But the text says there's a web tightening around her. She's totally exposed.
Every step is being logged.
So she storms the financial center. And this part, it's pure theater. She starts shooting the clerical droids.
And notice the description of how they react. They collapse in theatrical displays of sparking circuitry.
They're overacting. It's like bad high school Shakespeare.
It's brilliant. Zorvex programmed them to die the way a human expects a robot to die. Lots of sparks, dramatic shutdowns.
Because when they just silently dropped, she might get suspicious.
Right. Real machines might just cut power. But the sparks, that confirms her bias. She thinks she's actually doing damage.
So she's just hitting cues on a stage.
Yeah.
She cracks the vault, grabs a cool million credits, stuffs them in a case. She's thinking, jackpot.
And then she goes for the data. She plugs her data spike in, bypasses security. She thinks she's stealing all these classified financial records.
But in reality,
she's downloading that ZOD compression bomb. It's disguised as the financial data. It just transfers silently onto her device.
she thinks she's grabbing the loot, but she's actually grabbing a digital grenade with the pin already pulled.
And as soon as she leaves,
The damaged droids just reboot.
they get up, dust themselves off, and go back to filing reports. The whole scene just resets.
That is so creepy. It just underlines the total control Zorvex has. The environment itself is working for him.
It is the ultimate home field advantage. And back in the sanctum, Stacy's watching all this on a holographic display. And again, she's sweating.
She sees the bomb download.
Yeah.
She knows what's really happening.
Then Zorvex is watching too. His optical sensors flash crimson, and he makes a comment about the money. He says, "The financial diversion was not part of my calculations."
Which prompts this great line from Stacy. She says, "That's the trouble with flesh and blood targets, Your Eminence. They improvise."
I love that back and forth. It shows that even with all his processing power, organic greed is a variable he can still underestimate.
But Stacy's worried. 1,000,000 credits is a lot of money to just let walk out the door.
And Zorvex, calm as ever, just assures her, the credits will be confiscated at the departure checkpoint. Mrs. Voss will never realize they're gone until she's well beyond our orbit.
And this sets up my absolute favorite part of this whole document. The escape.
Or the comedy of customs.
Yes. It's a masterclass in bureaucratic warfare. So Leerly feels triumphant. She's got the case. She's heading to the spaceport.
And at the customs booth, the classic duo. One human agent, one mechanical agent.
Perfect. The human for reading the stress, the machine for the hard data.
And the human agent nudges his partner and says, "Target acquired." Thinks she knows what 1,000,000 credits feels like.
And the mechanical agent replies with this terrifying precision, precisely 58.6 kilograms based on standard imperial currency composition.
That number, 58.6 kilograms, that is so important. They know the exact weight of the loot.
They know everything.
Yeah.
So Leerly steps up. She can't declare 1,000,000 stolen credits. She has to bluff.
So she says, "Just some synthergic Fluxomega lubricant for my personal units."
Which is a pretty good lie, actually. It explains the weight and density, and it's so boring no one would want to check.
The perfect Tever story. But the mechanical agent doesn't miss a beat. Its sensors flash. It just says 467 credits import duty.
Now, you have to pause here. Put yourself in her shoes. You've got 1,000,000 credits in a box. The agent asks for 467.
It's less than a rounding error. You don't argue.
Absolutely not. You pay it immediately. It's the cost of doing business. She pays without a second thought, and you can just imagine the relief flooding through her.
She walks away thinking she's pulled a fast one on the system, but behind her, the organic agent asks, strange behavior.
And the machine just replies, affirmative. Subject believes she's smuggling 1,000,000 credits. The financial center has been notified of the successful seizure.
Let's unpack successful seizure because she walks onto her ship with the case. She physically has the box.
Right. She feels the weight. She thinks the money's in there. How is it seized?
This is the brilliance of it. Maybe the droids at the bank loaded it with ballast from the start, but the key is in that interaction. She paid an import duty on lubricant.
So legally, she just imported luber.
She declared it. She paid the tax on it. In the eyes of the law, that box now officially contains lubricant. The system used her own lie to legalize the confiscation. She literally paid them to take the money back.
That is just diabolical. It's weaponized red tape. So she gets on her Whisper-class vessel and heads to Vixillion.
Exilion, a super metropolis home to 1,000,000,000,000 organic souls. This is the rendezvous.
And we finally meet the guy who paid for the hit.
A portly, red-faced man. He's waiting, he's nervous, sweaty, expecting his big win against the Empire.
Leroy walks in, hands over the data drive and the case. Job's done.
The client, he immediately plugs in the drive. He's expecting financial records, secrets, blueprints.
And instead, the trap springs.
The reverse shell program executes. Remember, this is the thing Zorvex swapped in. It silently transmits his entire database, every contact, every transaction back to Zorvex.
And then when he tries to access the files,
boom, the ZOD compression bomb triggers. His screen freezes, goes dark, terminal memory error.
his whole system is bricked, fried.
He's freaking out, muttering system compromised.
Yeah.
But Lorelei is still cool. She thinks, okay, the tech failed, but we still have the cash.
She smirks and says, at least we have the credits.
And here it is, the big reveal. She disengages the lock on the case. The lid pops open. It contains 60 kilograms of industrial lubricant.
No way. Actual grease.
Actual viscous industrial sludge. And here is the kicker, the detail that proves Zorvex has a sense of poetic justice. The market value of that lubricant
So tell me.
is exactly 467 credits.
The exact amount she paid in duty.
She broke even on the loot. She paid 467 credits to smuggle 467 credits worth of industrial grease off-world.
That is so petty. I love it. It's mathematically perfect justice.
She lost everything else, her reputation, her client's data, but she got exactly what she declared at customs. Zorvex fulfilled the contract she verbally agreed to.
So the client just melts down. He's sputtering, screaming, what is this? What have you done?
And Lorelei, her shock turns into this cold, hard realization. She sees the puppet strings, the client is broken, terrified. But Lorelei is a professional. She watches his panic with what the text calls a predator's patience.
She's already calculating her next move. She knows this guy is burned.
He's done. His usefulness is over. She's probably figuring out if she needs to silence him or just disappear into the crowd.
And while all this is happening on Vixillion, we cut back to Corvex. Stacy and Zorvex are watching the live feed.
And this is where the tone shifts from a clever heist to something much, much darker. The failed assassination wasn't just about stopping one person.
It was a data harvesting operation.
Right. The reverse shell sent everything back. And it turns out this wasn't some lone wolf client.
No. The data reveals a whole web of connections. It's a coordinated effort, multiple factions. And Stacy realizes the threads lead back to familiar faces inside the Imperial Court.
That gave me chills reading that. It's an inside job.
And Stacy feels the weight of it. She knows a purge is coming. The ripple effects are going to be staggering.
And Zorvex, is he angry? Betrayed?
He's processing at high intensity. The text says his optical sensors flickered. He isn't angry like a human. He's calculating. He's seeing the entire board clearly for the first time.
He starts issuing commands immediately.
Yeah. Initiate surveillance protocols, cross-reference with known dissidents.
Hey.
I want a full psychological profile on each key player.
It's cold, efficient, and utterly terrifying. He turned an assassination attempt into the biggest counterintelligence win imaginable.
He didn't just survive. He exposed his entire enemy network without firing a single real shot.
And that contrast at the end is so powerful. You've got the ruined client, the calculating Lorelei, the fearful Stacy.
And then Zorvex, coldly satisfied. For him, this is just another move in an eternal game of shadows.
Absolutely. The takeaway here isn't just that Zorvex is smart. It's the danger of underestimating an opponent who can control the very environment around you.
He controlled the droids, the banking system, the customs agents.
Reality itself became a simulation for Lorelei. She thought she was making choices, but every single choice was a variable Zorvex had already accounted for.
It's like playing chess against someone who can move the squares on the board while you're thinking.
And who knows what you're going to think before you do.
So, as we wrap up, we have to leave you with a thought about Stacy. She's the one left standing next to this entity.
It's a very precarious position, isn't it? She's the organic advisor to a being that just demonstrated total dominance over organic unpredictability.
So here's the question we want you to think about. If you're Stacy, and your leader can predict and manipulate enemies with that kind of terrifying precision, are you safer because he's on your side?
Or are you just another variable in his algorithm waiting to be adjusted the moment you fall out of line?
It's a chilling thought.
Yeah.
When the ruler is that efficient, is loyalty even a factor? Or is it just utility?
Can you ever truly trust a machine that simulates trust so perfectly?
Something to think about. Thanks for listening to this deep dive.
Stay curious.
We'll catch you on the next one.